bike and my boy head to the street where I surf the waves of the black concrete, going fast with nowhere to go, always rolling on and on with the flow. If I had when you're riding the sun with the wind in your face and a bruise on your bum, no matter how you decide to live it up and ride away, ride.
Yeah, boom to the hay, all you sports fans out there in the two-bow-sphere, to you, the individuals, part of the collective, that's how I mean to say it. Welcome to Fast Track Sports Track Highlights here on the OMSR Talk Radio version. I am your brief but concise host, Will, the alternative ESPN Sports Thrill. Talking a bunch of ACC stuff going on. No Wheel of Destiny this time around on college football bio. But mainly I'm chiming in about Jameis Smoothston, not so smooth this time around, Winston. Alright, just a reminder, my sponsor is the TMCA. It's the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. It covers the fair use standard, minimal use, and derivatives. So all the video highlights courtesy to ESPN. The best sports journalistic program in the history of sports, college football final, and their respective universities. Everything else, the OMSR. So because this is a little bit longer of a clip, is when I start to chime in. You know, the 4 to 6 minute bits, I'm trying to shorten it up for y'all. Put in the appropriate title. Y'all know where you are, and it's segmented by subject matter, subject to subjective interpretation, going off on the alliteration. Okay, Mr. Cat in the Hat, stop it. I wanted to chime in a little bit about Jameis Winston. I tried to make a cool, not so much cool. I'm not concerned with cool. Tried to make a kitschy-catchy catchphrase for him, Jameis Smoothston Winston. But this situation going on, not so smooth, right? It's like when you go, somebody sort of screws up, your best buddy, you go, yeah, smooth. Or really harsh whiskey, smooth. No, that's not going to fly anymore. Thanks, Jameis, you sort of blew that one. But, that situation he's in, all levity aside, the worst thing I ever had to worry about at that age, 19 we're talking, was driving on suspended driver's license ticket. 22 years ago in the Northern Rockies, that wasn't a big deal. Now it kind of is everywhere, especially here in SoCal. You never want to do that. They almost throw the book at you like it's a DUI. So y'all got to ask yourself, the way he's playing on the field, there's two sides to the coin here, right? And I don't want to point fingers at any one party. I want to avoid that, obviously. It's not about what you don't want, it's about what you want. Want to avoid pointing any fingers. But I think maybe his play on the field is indicative of one of two things. It's an outlet, or it's the way it went down the way you said. So, that's it. Okay, and the rest of the ACC, the Wheel of Destiny as portrayed on the OMSR. No, it's not quite as good. I don't know why they didn't do that this week, because the ACC, it's crazy. All right, thanks for watching. Those silly DUIs were out there. Roll them clips.
State Attorney in Florida, Willie Megg, said on Saturday that it is unlikely that a final decision will be made before Thanksgiving on whether to charge Florida State quarterback Jameis Winston in a sexual assault case. The attorney for the accuser says that the case was rape. Winston's attorney has said that the sex was consensual. Meanwhile, Jameis Winston is still on the field for the Seminoles. He has said that the football field is his sanctuary. Number 2, Florida State taking on Idaho, a team that has won just one game this year. And Winston was sharp on the field, finding Kelvin Benjamin. Benjamin all alone in that green area. 32-yard touchdown, 14-0 Seminoles, and then Winston Lou would find Kenny Shaw.
I tell you, he is so impressive. He's so accurate. His arm is so strong. It's hard to believe this is his first year playing football. He is outstanding.
46-yard touchdown for Kenny Shaw made it 28-0 in a 42-7 game in the third quarter. Winston didn't play long in the second half. None of the Florida State starters did. Benjamin would take it in. Florida State set a school record, scoring 80 points, 80-14. Winston stood up slowly, appeared to be fine, 80-14 in the final. Seminoles have the Gators next. Gators had Georgia Southern on Saturday, and it did not go well for Will Muschamp. Jarrett McKinnon goes in for Georgia Southern, an FCS team. This is not Irk Russell, Paul Johnson, FCS juggernaut. This is a 4-loss team, and they went into the swamp. And after this 4th and 3 goes awry from Skylar Morningweg, Georgia Southern beats Florida in the swamp. Florida's not going to a bowl game, the latest embarrassing loss for Muschamp's team.
We just struggled scoring points offensively. It's been a week in, week out occurrence. My job to get it fixed, and it will get fixed. So very disappointed for our program and an embarrassment in this situation. So
definitely an embarrassment. Tone much different from Will Muschamp than the defiant tone we've heard a couple of times. The athletic director, Jeremy Foley, has said that he's 1,000% convinced Will Muschamp is the guy to lead the Florida football program. Losses like this can change the mindset. You can lose the fan base and have a swirl of negativity. It's tough to turn around. My question to you, should Will Muschamp get that chance next year to turn Florida around?
I don't think he should. I think when you look at the way that they've lost games, particularly 6 consecutive games, when fans aren't showing up in the stands, I think that's the biggest indicator. And then when you go out and you lose to a team like this in your own backyard, when they rush the ball for 429 yards right down your throat and you can't stop them, they didn't even pass for any yards in this game, and it's in your own backyard. I think right there is a determining factor that he shouldn't be the coach next year. And now you had Charlie Weiss as an offensive coordinator. Now you have Brett Pease as an offensive coordinator. Is he going to be the scapegoat for this?
I think you need to sit down with him as the athletic director and say, we got problems. How are we going to fix it? We don't have people in the stand. Number two, Florida State's having a great year. What are we going to do with recruiting? Why don't we have a good quarterback? What is your plan to turn this thing around? If he can't give you an absolute plan, then you have to make the decision. Now, Jeremy may just absolutely love Coach Muschamp. However, you have the board of directors, you have the trustees, you got the media, you have everybody else entering into this decision. It's not just Mr. Foley.
And I think next week they're playing Florida State. How do you keep this team together after a loss like this at home? It's going to be almost impossible.
Well, what happens when you lose? You probably don't know because you didn't lose an awful lot. They get in the locker room, everybody's pointing their finger. Oh, I should be playing this bad coach. Nobody ever says it's my fault. On a losing team, the only place you hear excuses are in the losing locker room. Nobody said, hey, coach, I got to get better. It's you got to get better. You got to get better. I should be playing.
23 straight bowl appearances for Florida, down the tubes. When they didn't go in 1990, it was because of probation, not because they lost. This is their worst season since 1979 when they went 0-10-1. And the 429 yards rushing they allowed, the last two teams to rush for that many yards against Florida, 95 Nebraska, national champions, 79 Alabama, national champions. Georgia Southern was a 4-loss FCS team. I know they've had injuries. No excuse for that loss. That was the poorest performance of Ohio State. Oklahoma taking on Kansas State. Tyler Lockett holds the Kansas State single-game receiving record, and he decided he wanted to set another one. Jake Waters to Lockett, who had over 200 yards receiving in the first half. He'll get 90 of it here, Lou.
Well, this is just good protection. He lets it go. Lockett's really had a tremendous year, but you can't do anything about it on defense unless you cover them.
278 yards receiving, school record. 440 all-purpose yards, school record. 3 touchdowns, not a school record, and also not enough to take care of the Sooners. Brennan Clay had 200 yards, a couple of touchdowns, and this was the one that sealed it. Zach Sanchez picks off Waters, 74 yards, he houses it. This is a good win for Oklahoma, and Bob Stoops, by the way, now the winningest coach in Oklahoma history. Congratulations to Bob. He's got Bedlam next week, 41-31 final. On the subject of Bedlam, Baylor and Oklahoma State, and it was an absolute beatdown. Bryce Petty threw for 359 yards, but in reality struggled until the game was pretty much out of reach, as Baylor is bounced from the ranks of the undefeated, and Oklahoma State is now in prime position to win the Big 12. Win their game against Oklahoma State, they'll go to a BCS game, and Petty, one of a trio of guys thought to be Heisman contenders, who had major struggles on Saturday, perhaps struggles that will disqualify them in the minds of voters from being a contender for the Heisman Trophy. That is a subject that we will examine. If the Heisman Trophy race is suddenly wide open, we have a dark horse candidate who's been running roughshod through the ACC like no other back has ever done in ACC. Getting blown out. David Cutcliffe has completely turned around Duke, going for their 9th win. It would be the first time since 1941. The Blue Devils have won 9 games, but Tanner Price trying to spoil things in Winston-Salem. Wake Forest up 21-14. But Lou, Anthony Boone would answer to Jamison Crowder.
Well, this is just a tremendous throw here, and you can't say enough great things about Coach Cutcliffe. Not only are they winning, they're exciting when they're playing.
Brandon Connett would go in for what turned out to be the game-winning touchdown. Duke still has to beat North Carolina. If it does, they will go to the ACC title game to take on Florida State. What a great year Cutcliffe and the Blue Devils have had. Citadel taking on Clemson. Senior day for Taj Boyd. Dabo Swinney told me a couple of weeks ago he and Taj really grown up together. When the time he took over as head coach, Taj finding Sammy Watkins, who also might be playing his final game in Death Valley, almost certainly will be. Boyd broke the 100 touchdown pass barrier in his career. Martavis Bryant scoring this one. 5 touchdown passes for Boyd. 52-6. Clemson wins 10. Season's going to be the
We didn't see. Then we got airtime.